All right, in this video, I'm going to be overviewing week four's content for public speaking, Comms 131. So the first thing is that I'd like you guys to read chapter 5 on attention getting, right? Attention getting strategies are important, and I'm going to talk about that briefly at the end of this video. But the second thing is that you need to be working on the topic approval form, which you can find in the week 4 folder. And I'm going to go over that first. Okay, so the objective here is for you to select an informative topic, right, and justify its significance. Now, an informative topic, and we haven't talked about this yet, but it varies from other types of speeches, like a persuasive speech, which we'll do later on in the semester. That's where you're trying to change people's minds or get them to think a certain way. An informative topic is where you're packaging information, going out and researching and teaching people something new that's rooted in factual information. So what you need to do is first select a topic. Now this topic could be about a person, right, like Abraham Lincoln or Sitting Bull or, Beyonce, whatever. Or a place, right? So you could think Stonehenge or the NASA space station or the Pentagon or California, right? Or, South America. It could also be about an event, right? This is a little different, right? So there are different types of events. Historical events like the Civil Rights era and the AIM movement just come to mind just off the top of my head. And there's also political events, right, like the Republican convention, the Democratic convention, and sort of events that we all sort of remember, like you guys might be too young for this, but 9/11, right, COVID, right, maybe the 1918 flu epidemic, right, something like that. You can look at these things and really come up with some interesting topics, right? Now I'm just asking you to select one, and this is going to be for your first speech, right? We have 2 speeches in this class, one being informative, the other being the persuasive speech. So we're going to learn how to use information strategically, and then we'll move on to persuasion. Now, once you've selected your topic, right, and it could just be that broad thing, right? We're not narrowing it down much yet. That'll be the next step in this process. But it could be that broad thing, right? So if I say I want to talk about Abraham Lincoln, that is not narrow at all, and there are a host of things that I could draw upon, right? His career as a politician, right? The role that he played in the Civil War, all sorts of things. So at this point, though, you're just saying, I want to research X. Then the second thing you want to do is to clearly explain why you've chosen the topic, right? So what interests you about this? What has drawn you to this topic, right? And it may be that you do the thing that you're wanting to research more. It may be that you have a lot of information already, or that you want to go into a profession that does things like that. Or maybe it's that you don't know anything about it and you want to learn more about it, right? And this is a great way to do that. One thing that I did early on in my speaking career is I didn't know anything about astrophysics, but I started researching it and reading like Neil Tyson and guys like that, and I just became enamored with it, and I started to learn so much, and that was really cool because not only was I giving a speech and helping other people learn about it, but I was also learning too. So think of this as an experiment where you're learning, but you're also teaching at the same time. You're teaching us about your topic. Now, don't just stop at saying, I chose it because I like it, because that doesn't really say anything specific, right? Tell in your approval what it is that you like about it, right? Because then it starts getting at what it is that is significant to you with the topic. Now the next thing is the so what question, right? So you like it, so what? Why should we, right? I grew up around horses, and so maybe I want to do a speech about horses. say Saudi Arabian mares, right? Maybe I want to give a speech about that. But no one in the room has access to a horse, right? Or maybe they don't even care. So how do I make that bridge, right? Where I say, okay, this is cool to me and I really like it, but you guys, whatever, who cares, right? You don't want to do that, right? Because all speeches should be tailored to their audience. So you got to think, right? What can we, your audience, gain by listening to you tell us about this topic, right? And don't just stop short and say they're going to be smarter. They're going to gain knowledge out of this, because that doesn't quite get at what this needs to do, right? Instead, explain how we can sort of use that knowledge, make it instrumental, right? So actually enrich our lives, make us, smarter in this way, right? It just depends on your topic, but really think about that and be as specific as you can. So those are your 3 things for the topic approval. At this point, it might seem very basic, but it is the first step, and this is the best way to build a solid foundation for a really good speech, right? So we're going step by step. The next step will narrow our topic and have a purpose statement, and then we'll begin researching and finding information, and then outlining it and organizing it into a cohesive speech that can be done in 5 to 7 minutes. Now, this is not due until next Friday, February 19th. I'd like them by 5 p.m. If you want to get them to me sooner, great. If you need an extension, that's okay too. I know, life happens, but just know that the further out it is, I'm not going to dock points, but the further out it is, the more behind you're going to be with the next steps, right, in the sequence. And also, it's going to be a lot less likely that you're going to receive feedback from me if you're turning in things very late. So if you need extra time, sort of, reach out to me, let me know, and we can see what it is that's the hold up, right, and I can help you out. All right, so that is the topic approval. Also, I want you to look over chapter 5. Now, attention is something that, and I'm not going to go over this in much detail because I'd like you to read the chapter, but it's something that at this point, it seems odd to look at it, but we know how important it is, and our textbook provides some good strategies. So a couple of things is, the first thing is, be true to who you are, right? Don't be over dramatic to try to get attention. Don't try to scare people into, paying attention to you, or don't try to force humor either, because that can backfire, right? Rather, take the skill set that you have and say, this is who I am. If you're funny, great. Then use your sense of humor. If you're not, then just don't worry about it. It's not your job to have the focus on you. The focus should be on your speech and your message. So attention is something that you want to trigger early at the very beginning of the speech and grab people's attention with some sort of device, whether it's a shocking statistic or a story or something like that, but it has to be relevant to your topic and to your audience. And then throughout the speech, you want to sustain that attention by finding ways to talk about your topic that gives them information that makes them want to listen. So it doesn't have to be hilarious or dramatic or Shakespearean or anything like that. Your job is not to sound like or to be the smartest person, right, in a speech. But finding ways to strategize and talk about maybe a familiar topic in an in-depth way that people hadn't thought about, or a topic that's obscure that we don't know anything about, and you're presenting new information to them, it can do wonders for getting attention and keeping it, right? So, just some things to think about as you read through chapter 5. Now, if you have any questions about the topic approval, right, or the chapter itself, feel free to email me, and I can set up a Zoom session with you or whatever. Otherwise, get to work. And I'm going to sign off now, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.